Over the last few days, there's obviously been a lot of talking about Mark Williams and what's going to happen with that trade. And I'm just here to give my thoughts because honestly, I think where we're at now is going to be what happens. I know last night we saw Don connect on the Laker bench in Luka's debut, and he didn't look too enthused. But I think it's just simply just because the business hit him early, and Mark is not actually back with the team, and I just don't know if there's a reason for the Hornets to really bring him back. And there's definitely incentive in Mark's case because you want to prove that you're healthy. But for the Hornets, I know that we all saw that Sham said the Hornets are talking to the league about amending this in some way. I don't think amending is going to be the trade is reverted or anything like that. I think it's just going to be more so just be used as a use case going forward. So when they start to break down the new CBA and they start to understand how you can reject players and stuff, they might put independent doc. Like there's things that may change going forward, but I do not think it's going to change this trade. It's already done. It's already been said. I don't think there's anything that's going to happen to change Mark Williams being on the Hornets and Don't Connect being on the Lakers. It's up to those teams to repair those relationships. I think if you're the Lakers, you have a chance to repair that relationship. He's a rookie. And then also you have Luka and LeBron. I don't know what it's going to look like for them this year to make it to the finals, but you definitely could suit up going into next year and try to make the finals, and then Don't Connect could ultimately be a part of that. Whatever transaction that is, but he could probably be a part of that to help them get to wherever they need to be. But for the Hornets or Mark Williams, I think you're kind of stuck. It's not like Mark Williams is a rookie the way Don't Connect is, and Mark Williams is ending the near of his deal. And as the Hornets, you have to decide: are we going to keep him and resign him, or are we going to let him go? And I think that's ultimately why they decided to trade him. His own court stuff has obviously been part of it. They may not feel he's the center of the future, but then you got to think about it. That leading to his contract negotiation and him being eligible for an extension. I didn't see the extension from Mark Williams. I didn't even want him to give him the extension. So I can understand why they would not want to give it to him either. I don't know what you do. I think the worst thing to do is just let him go. But I know we saw that Shams was talking to the league. And with that, I think it's just the Hornets trying to restore their credibility with the league at minimum, just because of the fact that it was the Lakers' word versus theirs, and who's going to believe the Hornets? Who a lot of people, I've seen comments that says of people who think Jordan still owns the team. That's how much not in the limelight the team is. So if I'm the Hornets, I would do the same thing. I want to clear my name. Just because it is possible that it could affect other GMs as far as them wanting to do business with me. And then Suns fans are coming out of nowhere and like, oh, Cody Martin had a sports hernia. Something's wrong in Charlotte. It's like, no, he's been had a sports hernia. And y'all still traded for him. So that there's just a lot. There's a lot at stake in terms of their name. I know that a lot of people say social media doesn't matter, but it does to an extent. It's almost like the All-Star game in fan voting. It may not be the end-all, be-all, but at the end of the day, it does play a part in what happens. And I think that the Hornets clearing their name is just enough for them to be like, okay, I can deal. It's easier to maintain these relationships with other GMs. I don't think there's going to be a relationship with the Lakers regime anytime soon. I think the Hornets have learned that. I think like the Kobe thing, maybe we're just not meant to interact with each other. We'll see. I don't know. But I just think that that's kind of it for that, because you have the Lakers who, even if they felt as though something was wrong, I guess it's like the timing of it all, and then just kind of allowing narratives to be spread. They didn't give much information, and I think the Lakers know, one, they don't have to give them much information because they're the Lakers, and two, they knew that it wouldn't fall on them, it would fall on the Hornets. So if the Hornets are fighting back, I commend them for that, but I personally just don't think that's going to end up with us with Dalton Connect or a pick or anything. At worst or at the most, what would happen is maybe if the Lakers are found of any wrongdoing, which I technically don't think they are. I think technically it's more so you're allowed to use that reason for cold feet. If you are having cold feet about a trade, you are allowed to use the failing of a physical to push that. And it doesn't help that Mark Williams is known to be injury prone. So I think that was the perfect storm for the Lakers to be able to say, hey, we actually don't want to do this, even though it could ultimately just be they felt like they gave up too much. So it is what it is. I think it's definitely going to be a lot harder for the Hornets to move forward than the Lakers, as we already talked about. I think that if you're the Hornets, I think you have to play Mark Williams at some point. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't even know what a trade for him is going to look like. There's little opinions here. You can trade him, and we mentioned this. You can trade him and just get nothing, really, like a couple of seconds or something, and then let him prove that he's healthy there. Or you can use him for now and let him prove that he's healthy here. It's just a matter of what you want to do. It really ultimately comes down to what they're going to do with Nurkic and the direction of this team, because there's already people talking about they should trade LaMelo, which I have another video I'm going to record right after this talking about that. But yeah, it's just a matter of what you plan on doing with this team. I think evaluating what Nurkic is going to do going forward will tell us what they're going to do, because once I thought Mark Williams was gone, I thought it would have been a really good idea to just Nurkic was in a perfect position to where if you are not good next year, you can trade him and get some more assets, or if you're just good enough, you can possibly make a little trade to raise the floor of your team and then make the play in and then get some playoff experience. Maybe even bring him back on a smaller term deal, but you could let his contract run out because you wouldn't want to trade him in the middle of this team finally kind of getting somewhere. And so he was just in a perfect space to do either or. Now you could still do either or, but then somebody has to go. You know what I mean? So if Nurkic goes, then it's possible Mark can stay and finish the season next year, and then we figure out what's happening in the offseason. If he stays, then Mark would have to go. It's something like that, because right now you have Diabate, Taj Gibson, which that's not really in the conversation, but Diabate, Nurkic, and Mark. I think he's just going to have to figure out something to do. I do believe Mark needs to play. If he wants to stay in the league, he has to show that he's healthy. He needs to play no matter what the ruling is with the Hornets. He needs to play. I just don't know if he'll be in Charlotte. You're definitely in a situation where if you are looking to trade him this offseason, it may not be, it's weird because in some cases we've seen a player plays. I really apply this to like the draft. If you look at the NBA draft, there's times where players play like these little stretch of games like, you might as well not have even played. And then there's like in the Kyrie situation, and then look how that turned out for him. But then you have players who do play, they don't look good, and then their draft stock falls. So if I'm the Hornets, I am trying to figure out what will it look like. You might even want to call teams and see what interest. I don't know what the rules are calling teams now. I know a trade can happen now, but the discussion just to see around the league. But you might want to figure out what are teams thinking, because if you play him to say, look, he's healthy, and then teams like, he didn't look that good. And a lot of it could be because of his health, because of just his demeanor, because of a lot of things can make him look bad, then no one's going to want him. So then you might be like, I don't want to put him through that, because then his value goes down even more, even though we're already trading him for nothing. Or you don't play him, and everybody's like, where is he? Is he healthy? And then that it's just a whole thing that they have to figure out. And that's why I think the Hornets are obviously in a worse position. But ultimately, it just comes down to what you're trying to do with the team. I think if you're trying to retool this team to see what you can get the most out of LaMelo Ball, which I think that's something that we should discuss, then this situation is not good. Because now you have, a big that you really can't, you don't know what to do with him. But he's taking up a roster spot, he's taking up salary. If you are trying to tear it all down, then it's a little easier, because it's like, we're not expecting anything anyway. Let's just get rid of everybody and build slowly back up. So I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. I just don't want anybody to think that we're going to get something back, because I really, really don't think so. I obviously would love to. I think that they should be able to rework the deal, at least pick-wise. Maybe the players stay. Like, okay, these are the players we agreed on. Let's alter the picks. I think they maybe should be able to amend that in some way. I think that will probably be easiest, and then have a third-party doctor come in and look. Maybe with the NBA even in, I don't know. They're going to have to figure something out if they were to do it. I don't think that they will, but if they were to do it, I think that's probably the best way for them to do it. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.